Hello everybody and welcome to Toyah at Home. I hope your week has been really good for you. It's getting so warm. I mean, I just can't stay cool in the house at all. We don't have air conditioning, but the summer seems to be here. I have wonderful questions today. They really have taken me to other places when it comes to research, and I'm really grateful for this because honestly my days, 7 days a week, comprise of get up, about 2 hours of email, getting the gigs sorted still, even though I now have a team and have help, sorting out the press, doing the press, and then film for Toyah TV. They're long days and I find myself just getting lost in the process, and your questions actually help me step away from all of that and research things that I really love and really should be looking into as a creative writer. So I'm so grateful for your questions. The picture behind me, and I wanted to show you this, I accidentally set up the framing so I'm blocking my own face. Now this is a portrait of me by Helen David of English Eccentrics, a great friend of mine. And I set up the picture and I thought, oh, I've kind of got multiple halos around me, and I just found it very funny. But what's remarkable about this picture, it is all iridescent beads. This is all completely hand sewn. It's a remarkable piece of work. She did it about 15 years ago and I'm so fond of it. But we've got questions about artwork today, so I thought that I would be by this particular picture. Now, anyone that watches Toyah at Home knows that I adore art. Robert and I are collectors and I can't wait to answer the first question, but we're going to go into the first piece of music. Robert is now away, which allows me 4-6 extra hours in the day to be Toyah, because I'm not prepping food. In fact, I'm probably not eating enough now he's away. But I've got these extra hours, which means I can now practice guitar more. I can get more accomplished on guitar. I'm writing songs. Those extra hours are just so precious to me. Also, it's allowing me the kind of really precious thing of missing somebody. I didn't want Robert to go away, and the first day he was away I was an absolute wreck. I couldn't sing, I couldn't think, I was in tears, I was holding his pillow on the bed crying into it. But now there's almost an ecstasy of missing him. And that's a very, very powerful thing. And it reminds you of someone's qualities. It reminds you of why you're with that person and how precious your time together is. So I'm really valuing this 2.5 months he's away in the United States, because I can now think back 35 years, the power of missing him, the threads that pull us even closer together even though he's not physically here. But one thing about him not being here is I'm able to play guitar more. So we thought the first song today should be me and my guitar tutor, Sydney Jake. And this is Sydney and I doing our version of Levitate, with me playing and singing, which I think is quite an achievement, because 7 months ago I could not even play a chord and sing. So this is how far I've come. Enjoy, everybody. This is our kind of heavy chord rock version of Levitate. 1, 2, 3, 4. How was your day? Time to play. Clear the ball. Chaos. Heaven. On my mind. Oxygen. Breathing in, out. Gravity. Pulling us down. 12 seconds to midnight. Levitate. Levitate. Up, up, up. Levitate. No gravity. We're getting higher. Levitate. Gotta get away. Levitate. No time moon, to the earth, to the sky. This is me, this is us, this is you. We are unique. We love levitate, levitate, up, levitate. No gravity, we get higher. Levitate, gotta get away. Levitate, time to play. Levitate, no gravity, we get higher. We love 12 seconds to midnight. Levitate, levitate, up, levitate. No gravity, we get higher. Levitate, gotta get away. Levitate, no time to play. Levitate, no gravity, we get higher. Don't wanna calm down. I don't wanna calm down. I don't wanna calm down. Gravity higher, levitate. That was me on guitar, singing Levitate with Sydney Jake. Yeah! And next we've got coming for you Toyah Classics. We've done a version of Neon Womb that just really rocks. It's so good. And this is what I can do now my husband is away and I'm not having to look after him. Feminists out there might be saying, well, why are you looking after him? Well, he's 75. I have to keep my eye on that dear little creature. Sometimes it's like having a pet. We've got 5 flights of stairs in this house and I'm behind him, ready to catch him all the time. So this time that I have with him away on tour is actually furiously creative. It's fabulous. I love my first question today and thank you so much. It's from Carol Balcom. Hi Toyah, if you could have the credit for creating any piece of artwork, which would you choose and why? I love this question, Carol, because it's impossible to answer. When you look through history and the value of artists through history, I mean, we are an eternal race and there's eternal creativity. What do you choose? Do you choose the Dutch female artists of the 17th century who nursed their babies and painted still lifes in the kitchen and never made it into the history books? Do you choose the socialite artists of the 1820s? And I'm thinking of Rolinda Sharples, who never was credited for her vast compositions of courtrooms, racecourse, the breakdown of the banks, the collapse of the banks. I mean, huge, massive compositions that were copied and she was written out of history. I know this because I've played her in a documentary as a protest film. So I have done a list and this list encapsulates who and what I am. And I'm going to end with the person that I would love to have been the master of the artwork. So let's go to Scotland. Neil Macpherson. He is part of the Scots Royal Academy, Art Academy, and his work is figurative, but it's surreal. His figures and his colours and his use of colours are very strange and very descriptive. And I would love to be able to paint like him. I find incredible inspiration when I look at his work. Therefore, his work is doing the right job. Elizabeth Frink, Transformation. These are a series of huge bronze heads that she did from the 60s right through to the 80s. Luckily, I got to know her very briefly and adored her work. But these heads were revolutionary. For a woman to do these kinds of bronzes of strong, masculine figures in these strange kind of Ray-Ban sunglasses, I love that artwork. I loved it so much. I could never afford to buy it, but I loved it. Then Anthony Gormley. I love absolutely everything he does. His description of the emotional, physical body of the human being. My favourite, and it was one we wanted to use for the very first cover of Toyah and the Humans with Bill Rieflin, Wong and I, was the spiked man. It's just a man with spikes coming out. I wanted that to be the front cover. For me, that represented polarization, anger, energy, fighting to exist, fighting to survive, just fighting for your space. I adore that piece. But one of the pieces I've always would have loved to have done is Angel of the North, because ever since I picked up a pencil and started drawing at the age of 11, I wanted to do a giant angel. Now this is morphic resonance, and Anthony got there first. But one day, I might just do it, because I'm buying a new art studio and I'm very excited by the size of it and what I can get up to within it when I'm in my older years. So we get on to who I think I would like to have created something by and lived through the journey of creating it and what it did to the world. And we have to go to Ai Weiwei. I mean, he's astonishing. Everything he does has such breathtaking comment. Let me start, if you don't know him, let me start with a piece that he did that absolutely enraged me. It enraged me. Ai Weiwei smashed a dynasty urn. I mean, this incredibly precious Chinese urn in 1995, and took pictures of him dropping it. And I just thought, no, the value of that, the value of the history, the person that made it, what it's seen, what it's been through. And then he's done remarkable exhibitions since, like Evidence. But I went to see one at the RA, and I can't remember how many years ago, I went with Helen David, who did this portrait. And it was one about the building of schools and the materials used in the building of schools in distant provinces in China. And these schools collapsed and killed many children. And we were standing there, everyone in complete silence, looking at the bent metal structures that held the concrete together, just knowing what had happened with these structures. And, you know, you probably know, but for people to protest in China is so life-threatening and life-changing. I spent 14 days in China a while ago with Danny Minogue and Olivia Newton-John, and I fell in love with the place. I fell in love with the provinces. I fell in love with the people. I fell in love with the Mongolian tribes we passed when we crossed into Mongolia. It's the most gorgeous collective of tribes, and I wanted to hug them and tell them how much I love them and how special they are. But then you still have this side that, like, I think every superpower in the world, there's this side where things aren't working. And I want to get onto this with Branson taking off into, you know, the sky and his space travel and being a billionaire, because billionaires can change all this. Why are they not doing it? So here we have Ai Weiwei protesting with his art so spectacularly, brilliantly. And I'm not sure if he's powerful enough to bring change, but he's brought education to all of us. I adore the people of China. I adore the kind of the richness and the creativity and what they've made possible for us. But he has pointed the finger at the small percentage who are like every percentage of people with hubris. And I think I wish I was brave enough to do what he has done, because this is one hell of a brave man. And I think we can do this with still loving a nation. We can do this with still loving the people. We can do this with still protecting the people. And the reason I brought up Richard Branson, even though I know space travel is going to happen within my generation, and I love the idea of it, why can't we put the money into correcting this planet? The imbalance between the billionaires and the poor is getting like that. And please, intellectually, let that never, never happen. People like A. Wywie, Anthony Gormley, Elizabeth Frink, Neil Macpherson, lessen that gap. And all artists and all art and all expressions of art protect us all. So, thank you for that question. You brought me back into my body and into being me, Carol, and I love you for it. Thank you. Devana Shakti Pruden, you ask, Toyah, have you ever acted in a part of a person currently living, and what did they think of your portrayal? Devashakati, I don't think I've done this. I can only say Quadrophenia, which was very much based on Pete Townsend, the Who's manager, their life experiences. So I can honestly say that perhaps the part of Monkey was a genuine person at the time I was playing her. And everyone loves Monkey. Very small role in the movie of Quadrophenia, but a very powerful role. And Roger Daltrey said that I reminded him of his late sister. So there have been lovely compliments on that, but actually playing someone alive, I don't think I have. I've played plenty of historic people. Dora Carrington of the wonderful Bloomsbury set, I played her at the Minerva Theatre, Chichester Theatre, with Annie Carradine directing me. I mean, absolutely phenomenal role. What did happen when I was playing Dora Carrington is her living relatives saw me and came to say hello, and they loved the play, they loved the representation. She was in a kind of menage a trois with Lytton Stacey and Ralph Partridge. Now Ralph was very masculine and Lytton was gay. And Dora Carrington was more in love, I'd say, with Lytton Stacey than she was with Ralph Partridge. And that was the difficulty. And Lytton passed away and Dora committed suicide. It was very gruesome. The play opened with that. The play opened with me just putting the shotgun in my mouth and pulling the trigger. And her relatives said that I had a kind of childish physicality that Dora could have. Dora was a woman that often was photographed naked at stately homes of rich patrons, and she'd be on the fountains completely naked. And, you know, there are similarities in that kind of lack of inhibition between her and me. But I was complimented. I was complimented for broadening her history and broadening kind of her emotional history, because you know, when you're acting, you are working from what has been written in books, and a lot of history has been written by men. And I think with Dora, there is enough history written by women. And as a female performer, I could identify with the emotional imbalances she was experiencing being in love with a homosexual man. So there was a lot of interpretation, but I got great reviews for it. One review said, this reminds us how brilliant an actress Toyah Willcox is, because you know, I had this huge musical success between the beginning of my acting at the National Theatre and this moment in time, which I think was 1993-94. I've played Alice Hodgson and Give Them Wings, but Alice had passed away in the 70s, and Paul Hodgson, who is the producer and writer of the play, loved my portrayal of Alice and said it was absolutely perfect. But obviously I had no written material other than Paul's to build the character of Alice on. But my wonderful, wonderful co-star Bill Fellows worked with me intensely to build that kind of Yorkshire bravado that Alice would have had, and I feel very lucky for that. Borley goes to Borley Rectory. The psychic I am playing in that, Estelle, was a real character, and the most extraordinary thing about her was she was so psychic that she could give shows at the Royal Albert Hall, and by the time she was approaching 30, she was exhausted. And one day she actually asked her spirit guide to give her a holiday. You never do that. If you have psychic abilities, you never ask to break the link. It's believed if you ask to break the link, the spirit guide never comes back. And she asked this of her spirit guide, and he never came back, and she could no longer do it. So the Ghost of Borley Rectory, real character. God, I adore playing her. I really did. With the play called American Days at the ICA, which was me, Phil Daniels, Anthony Sher, Mel Smith, written by Stephen Polyakov, we were all playing record executives and 3 young potential stars auditioning for the record executive. That would have been based on truth, and I was playing one of the young hopefuls, and it's a very brutal play. This was written before X Factor, and it was about the brutality of the audition process and how it could possibly destroy young talent. That was real, people. I just remembered one. Devon Shasti. It's Whale at the National Theatre. Now, you may not be old enough to remember 3 whales got stuck in the freezing ice in the Arctic and had to be saved. They would have died. The ice would have kind of frozen them in and they just wouldn't survive. And people from all over the world went to the Arctic, I believe it was the Arctic, to save them. And this became a play at the National Theatre. And you ask, have I played a real life character? I was playing 10 characters in that at the National Theatre. This was performed on the Littleton stage, and it was performed at 10:30 in the morning, 2:30 in the afternoon. I adored it. It was a massive cast, absolutely massive, and we were all playing 10 different characters. So those were real, and that was just sold out. It was so beautiful, because in Act 2, when the whales were freed, these gorgeous acrobatic actors came out under the stage on harnesses, all dressed in blue, and performed like the whales and were somersaulting and turning. It was such a beautiful, rewarding story. And I believe that the people that were there, who went through it, who fought in the impossible conditions to save those whales, did actually love that production. And we had to learn to sing like Inuits. Now, I like to think if this play went on today, they would have had genuine Inuit singers in the production, but a team of an Inuit kind of choral team came over to teach us to sing, and it's like clicking in the back of the throat, and we could do it no way as well as the genuine Inuit tribe, but it was such an honor to experience that. But I think today everything quite rightly would use the real people, and with Inuit singing, people who could do it properly, put them on stage. But it was a gorgeous, gorgeous production. I loved it. And thank you so much for that question. We've had a group of questions, which is, let me have a look, Robert Versteeg and Stuart Keogh. You both say, I know you've redone your classic music in different ways, with electric on Take the Leap, acoustic on Toyah Acoustic album, but have you ever thought of giving some of your older works a club dance remake? That would have to be in someone else's hands. All that back catalogue now is with Cherry Red. But I tell you what would be amazing to have dance remixes is Toyah and the Humans, because it's made for that. It's so surreal. If you take, the fragment pool and just pull that apart line by line, fragile is the fragment pool, where we're a drop in the pool. It's just so gorgeous. Everything like that. Running into the labyrinth. The fear is sensational. I mean, imagine that in a dance remix. It would be incredible. I think Ophelia's Shadow, which I own, Prostitute, Toyah and the Humans would all be remarkable for dance mixes, and it would be high up there in the art stakes. You also asked Stuart, would I be thinking of remixes and plans of remixes for songs on Posh Pop? Well, one has already been done for a single that comes out on the 6th of August called The Summer of Love. And we wrote that before everyone else started trending on that phrase, and shot the video. That's already been done by Simon Darlow's son, Alfie Darlow, and it's lovely. It's really nice. Both Robert and I have heard it, but we're so in the moment with Posh Pop at the moment. I'm not ready to distract from the album before the audience have even heard it, because the album is pretty perfect. There is nothing I listen to on this album and think I want to change it. Posh Pop is the most complete work of 10 songs by 3 people of incredible backgrounds, incredible experience, incredible creativity. I do not want to distract from this album until at least Christmas, with dance remixes, until this album has reached its international audience. It's a very special piece of work. There has been a dance mix, as I mentioned, by Alfie Darlow, and it's very lovely, but we've asked that it's kept under wraps until Posh Pop, the album, the original album, has had its main part of its journey. I think there will be chances for other remixes, and I view remixes for people's other kind of lifestyle. And what I mean by that, it's not in the Toyah spectrum of my lifestyle. I work live as an artist with a rock band. The Posh Pop band are a little step more developed than a rock band. We're going to go into really subtle melodic areas and then into explosive rock. That doesn't mean we're going to be performing dance mixes. So that is very much a genre for people who know about it. If they want to do it, I have no objections whatsoever. It's just not my world. Simon manages to chill out. He can have that lifestyle, and he likes Ibiza. I've never been to Ibiza. I don't know what chilling out feels like. So I just say, Simon, do it, but keep it in your own world. I want to be with you guys. I want to be on the ground, kind of making sure you guys are okay and that there's, fields of communication. But I'm not saying no to it at all, Stuart and Robert. So thank you very much for your questions. And for the old Toyah, not saying no to it at all. So we're going out today with this wonderful song, Zoom Zoom. It started its life when Simon had spent about, I think, 3 hours on a Zoom call, and he ran out of the studio to meet me as I arrived, and he said, we're going to write a song called Zoom Zoom. And this presented some very unique problems to him as a producer and to us as writers, because we had the line, do you want to start a revolution? And we feel that music and revolution are very peaceful forms of change. And we said, do you want to start a revolution? And then there was like 2 bars gap. And it was troubling us. We didn't know how to fill that gap. And Simon went for a very long walk, and he came back and he says, I've got it. Do you want to start a revolution? Yeah. And I thought, no, it's don't do that. This song is so good in its social comment. And then we played it to Robert, having put the yeah in. And do you know what Robert did when he heard the first line? Do you want to start a revolution? Yeah. And this is what Robert did. Yeah. And I thought, okay, Simon, you've done the right thing. This works. So this is our acoustic version of Zoom Zoom, with me asking Simon his experience about it and how he feels about it now. Enjoy, everyone, and I will see you next week. Tonight there will be a release on social media, and on Sunday lunch there will be a release. While Robert's away, we're slightly throwing the balls in the air and trying different things and different ways of making communication with the one that we love, and that's Robert Fripp. Thank you, everyone. Lots of love from Toyah. Hello, I'm back in the studio with Simon to do a stripped down acoustic version of our latest single, Zoom Zoom. Do you want my memory of Zoom Zoom?
Yep.
I pulled up outside, I was reversing in, and you ran out the door and you said, I've had an idea. Why has no one done it? Zoom Zoom!
Off we went. No, it was peculiar because we were at that point we needed songs because we were just doing everything on the hoof for this record, and it was starting to get really good. And so literally 5 minutes before Toyah arrived, I thought, oh God, we need something else. And I don't know what triggered the thought, probably because I've been on some ridiculously long Zoom call, and it triggered the thought, and off we got, and we got the whole thing, and it just you know, the lyrics started coming, and we just stood there and went bang, straight at it.
And it threw so many filmic kind of intentions and ideas in, like Hunter in the Night, watching, spying on you, and also this whole thing of going to a beach and saying you've got the perfect life when probably all you're doing is running from venue to venue taking a picture of yourself. It's about the not so perfect life, but also the fact that Zoom made us all able to contact and connect during lockdown.
Yeah, it was a peculiar way to look at life. I think we're all going to end up with Zoom glasses just to kind of get back to normal at some point. So you put them on and you've got a screen with lots and lots of people in.
But it's a fun song. It's a really fun song.
Yeah.
And then you went on a long walk because we put the main verse vocals down.
Mm-hmm.
We put down, do you want to start a revolution?
Yeah.
And you didn't know how to sew the catches together.
That's right.
And you went on a long walk and you ran back and you said, I've got it. Yeah. So we put that down. We brought Fripp, Bobby Wilcox, in here, into that seat, played at him, and the first thing he did, hearing this song for the first time, was go, do you want to start a revolution? Yeah. And he started punching the air.
It was really funny, yeah. First time I heard him sing, actually.
Oh, he sings brilliantly.
No, he's on the case. I see all these hidden things that are coming out in this album.
Yeah. So this, ladies and gentlemen, and theys and us, this is Zoom Zoom Acoustic. Wanna start a revolution? Yeah. Now everybody zoom. Yeah. I wanna be a beat girl. I wanna be a rock star. I wanna be a beatnik. I wanna go far. Start a revolution. Sitting on a beach in the burning sun. Look at me on my iPhone. I am the number one. What do you believe in now? Bend the truth to suit your view. You created a fairy tale. If you're the future, I wanna know. Do you wanna start a revolution? Yeah. Do you wanna start a revolution? Yeah. You can do it in your bedroom. Yeah. Now everybody zoom. Yeah. I'm a baby boomer. I wanna be a millionaire. I want you to have my baby. I wanna be a star. Talk like Andy Warhol. Hunter in the night got his eye on you. Taste me, I'm a flavor. I'll do anything you want me to. What do you believe in now? Then the truth to soothe the view. You created a fairy tale. If you're the future, I wanna know. Do you wanna start a revolution? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you wanna start a revolution? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can do it in your bedroom. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now everybody zoom, zoom. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a baby boomer. I wanna be a millionaire. Talk like Andy Warhol. I wanna be a star. Do you wanna start a revolution? Wanna start a revolution?